Testing. Testing. Is this thing on? Testing. Is it on? Testing. Hi. It's Max the dog, everybody. Well, actually, you can't see Max the dog because I'm still testing. Max! Are you being a baby right now? Oh, shit. He's being a dog. Everybody, got a show going on here. Oh, shit. Oh, this is a new look at this. Oh. Oh. Look at that. Whoa. When did they come out with this? When did the... Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay, check this out. Check this out. Oh. Ha. Ah. Ah. Oh. That is incredible. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the program. Playing around with the new tools here for my updated software, so don't mind me. Just having a little bit of fun here, trying to learn some new stuff here. You know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I guess that makes me a pretty young dog. So, anyway, I got a program here lined up. We're going to be talking about, there's a nurses strike going on. We're going to learn about that together. Oh, Christ, on a fucking... There's some shit going on in Brazil, and it's not good. So I'm going to be reading a little bit of that. If anyone has any good sources for Brazilian news, feel free to let me know. But there's very little information out there outside of mainstream press for the moment. So maybe over the next couple of days, you know, I'll look into some more. But we're going to get a little bit of mainstream media view of what's going on there. So, you know, but I'm going to look for more independent sources over the course of the next few days. And I saw this in the news. A Democrat said something useful. So I'm going to be talking about that today. You know, I think this may be the first time in the history of the world that a Democrat has actually said something useful. So we're going to be going into that. No, it's not any squad members from what I understand. So anyway, we'll see how long that lasts. Am I right, people? This is the Above It All program 2023 here today and this year. We're in it. And I just want to let everyone know well, needless to say, I got fucked up on drugs yesterday, and I'm still recovering, so bear with me. I've attempted to reduce my drug intake to the weekends, as opposed to 7 days a week. Now I'm doing 3 days a week, so you know, and I'm doing them on the weekends, and I'm recovering. So please bear with me. I am still very cloudy and hazy, and other such words. So anyway. Yesterday, I was streaming on twitch.tv, and I was playing some Doom, and my glasses fell apart. This is, in fact, maybe I'll do a segment. Okay. So yesterday, I was streaming on twitch.tv, playing some Doom, and, you know, playing the game. My right lens falls out of my glasses live on stream. I don't know if anyone got the clip. I'm not sure. But it did happen. If you hunt back through my Twitch VOD, you can see it. So my right glasses lens falls out live on stream. I start to panic. And so then what I decide to do is try to repair my glasses live on stream. One of these screws in my glasses, I guess it was loose. I don't know. I tried to tighten it with my thumbnail, but unfortunately I cut my nails recently because they all broke off when I was doing stuff. So my nails are not as good as they used to be for this. I lost the screw. I have since found the screw. You might be wondering, where's the screw? Well, it's in this Ziploc bag right there. That's the screw. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the screw. No, it's not a tick. No, that's the glasses screw. So I found the screw, And, but you might be wondering what's going on with my glasses. Well, they have a very, let's just say, slapdash repair job, as you can see here. You know, I guess it works. I am worried about stabbing myself in the eyeball, but I gotta get one of those special screwdrivers. And so that's my mission for today. But anyway, yesterday I was playing some games. My glasses fell apart live on stream. They fell the fuck apart live on stream. And then I tried to continue the game as much as I could without being able to see. Honestly, I think I made it a couple levels in after my glasses fell apart, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I still died nonetheless. But anyway, so that's what I'm dealing with. That's my situation. That's where we're at. Where we're at right now. And, you know, I plan on being somewhere else in the future. So that's, there you go. If anybody has yet to fill out the survey, I think today will be the last day of the survey. I mean, I guess maybe I don't need to turn the survey off, per se. Like, I could just leave it on, right? But I'm going to stop talking about it after today. Because clearly these fuck-face viewers, they're just not going to get their shit together. You know, this is like talking to Republicans. You know, this is like talking to Republicans sometimes, speaking to some of you fucking freaks. You know? Anyway, Max the dog is on the floor. Hi, Max. Hi. Give me that. Give me that. It's mine. Gimme. And there he goes. So, anyway, fill out the survey. Unless you want to be forever known as an ungrateful fuckface. You know, I'm keeping a list. You know what they say about lists. Nothing ever good comes from them. But I'm keeping a list of all the motherfuckers who filled out my survey. And then I'm going to have that list. You know? Got a little black book here, you know. You know, people say nothing ever good comes from lists. Nothing ever good comes from a black book that happens to be little. But I'm going to put everyone who filled out this survey into my book. And then those are the cool viewers. Those are the cool viewers. I'll remember the motherfuckers who aren't in the book. So, just throwing that out there. Let me check out some of these. So fill out that shit. Anyway. So, we got a program today. Program. We endorse the metric system on this show. We are program on today's program. So, let's just jump in. Let's jump the fuck in. Are you ready to jump the fuck in? Because we are going to jump the fuck in. So, let's talk about Brazil. So I'm going to be reading this shit from the BBC. And no, I'm not talking about that BBC. Everyone calm down. But I'm going to be reading this from the BBC. There's a lot more information that I want to learn about what's going on in Brazil. So I will probably be talking about this a couple more times throughout this show. But some really bad stuff happened yesterday. There's very little in-depth information out there, at least in English speaking areas. So I'm going to do my best to look into that over the next coming days. But let's see what the BBC has to say. Brazil Congress storming. How did we get here? So I've got two articles from the BBC. And I want to play this video on Twitter real quick that I saw. This is just a short video of what was going on. This is the presidential palace in Brazil. So imagine White House equivalent. You know, the audio's not so good. It's just like really screechy. But you can see what happened yesterday in Brazil is Bolsonaristas, as they refer to themselves, decided to take the opportunity of their Brazilian Congress being out to storm the Capitol building, their congressional building. The Supreme Court was stormed and destroyed, and so was the presidential palace. Now, no one was at these places, so it leads me to believe that they specifically targeted these places while everyone was on recess as a way to send a message. I'm not sure, but you can see a little bit of the extent of the damages here. There's all kinds of videos going around, but, it's not good. Now, this is a little different. A lot of people are calling this the January 6th moment. This is a little bit different. There's no goal here. January 6th, 2021, there was a goal. There was an ask by the fascists that tried to invade the U.S. Capitol. And they said, we want to install Trump as king, and we're going to stop the count so that Trump is king. There's really no equivalent here. This is more of a message, from what I understand, is more of a message. They just wanted to fuck shit up and say, we don't like you. It's terrorism, is what it is. I mean, plain and simple, of course. Lula, on his first week in office, has already been meeting with indigenous leaders to bring back, again, Bolsonaro. One of Bolsonaro's major campaign planks is giving away indigenous land to property developers so that they can destroy the Amazon rainforest and other such, beautiful areas that are natural to Brazil. Whereas Lula, first week, meeting with indigenous leaders, securing those grounds, cutting contracts with developers. Lula has once again vowed to end poverty. And this isn't bullshit, because when Lula was president in the early aughts, he did that as well. He vowed to end poverty, and he did. He realistically and effectively cut all poverty down in Brazil, cut starvation down, right? Cut food insecurity down. Bolsonaro and his crew of people, again, of course, over the last 10 years, they've waged all sorts of coups against the Brazilian government, fake impeachments, fake trumped-up charges, etc., etc. They've destroyed the government and destroyed the people over the last 5 to 10 years. And so, once again, Lula is coming back to clean up the mess. So let's read what the BBC has to say. Brazil held a bitter election 2 months ago. The presidential elections in October 22 pitted the far-right incumbent Jair Bolsonaro against his left-wing rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, better known as Lula. Following an acrimonious and bitter campaign, Lula, who was president between January 2003 and December 2010, defeated Mr. Bolsonaro by a narrow margin in the runoff on 30 October. Lula said the storming was without precedent and labeled those behind it fanatic fascists. So Lula is not fucking around. Lula is not a Joe Biden figure. Lula is not going to go, oh, wow, that's shitty. Let's work with them. Let's get some bipartisan shit going. Remember that's what Joe Biden was talking about? We need to restore the soul of the country. Bipartisanship. We need bipartisanship. Lula's like, these motherfuckers are freaks. And we're going to fucking send them to jail because they're fucking freaks. So, once again, Lula's got an actual leader in their presidential palace right now. Whereas us here in America, we just gave the insurrectionists the keys to the fucking whatever. I don't know. I don't know. They have the keys now. Kevin McCarthy is Speaker of the House. The Republican Party literally tried to destroy the country 2 years ago, and we just handed them an election. So we're not doing so well here in America. We got some really stupid motherfuckers in this country. He also accused Mr. Bolsonaro of encouraging the rioters' actions via social media. Everybody knows there are various speeches of the ex-president encouraging this. Bolsonaro is currently hiding away in Florida. I've seen some members of the U.S. government calling to deport Bolsonaro, which I agree with. We got to deport this guy. We have open border policies in Florida. Why is it that Florida's got open borders where Brazilian refugees can just come into Florida through these open borders that Ron DeSantis is keeping? We got to deport these fuckers. So I do call on everybody else who's calling for the deportation of Jair Bolsonaro. I don't know what's going on with Ron DeSantis' Florida. They got open borders down there. Really fucked up. It is a profoundly divided country. Brazil is a country which is deeply divided, and the storming of Congress is a dramatic sign of how far some Brazilians are willing to go to attack the democratic institutions which they no longer respect them, which they say they no longer represent them, I should say. This is not just about left versus right, but about those who refuse to accept the result of a democratic election when it goes against their will, taking out their rage on the symbols of Brazil's democracy. So this is about left versus right, essentially. Now, again, BBC, they're pretty fucky a lot of the time, right? But it's better than American news, so that's why I chose them. But it is quite a literal example of left versus right. Left-wingers support democracy. Right-wingers don't. That is literally the definition of these political ideologies. Left-wingers want to bring prosperity to all people. Right-wingers don't. They are anti-democratic. That is their calling card. That is what defines them. So to say it's not about left versus right, I mean, again, these aren't experts here at the BBC. These are manufacturing consent theory out the wazoo. Those who took part in the rioting are on the extreme end of the spectrum, but there are many more opponents of Lula who spread false information about him and thereby fanned the flames which led to Sunday's events. For some, Lula's path from prisoner to president is too much. Now again, prisoner. These are trumped up charges. Why is he not in prison right now? Well, because all the people who sent them there admitted that they lied. For those of you that don't know, the previous election, not the 2022 election, but the previous election, I believe it was the 2018 election, Bolsonaro was losing by double digits to Lula. And what he did was he worked with the Brazilian Supreme Court, smoke-filled backroom deal, to throw fake charges on Lula so that he would be in jail and couldn't run in 2018. They stole the election in 2018. They did. Lula was going to win. They created a fake crime, sent him to jail so he couldn't campaign and run, and then Bolsonaro won. Bolsonaro was never democratically elected. He got elected, quote unquote, via a lawfare-based coup. That's what happened in 2018. So this is just a correction. But again, the idea that Lula was a prisoner for any sort of real thing is bullshit. It's bullshit. Stupid fucking bullshit. Lula has served 2 presidential terms. He has also served a prison term, and some Brazilians say it is shameful he should have returned to the presidential palace after his time in jail. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit is what it is. Lula spent 580 days in jail after being convicted of corruption in 2017 and was banned from running in the 2018 presidential election, which Mr. Bolsonaro ended up winning. His conviction centered around allegations that he had accepted a bribe from an engineering company in the form of renovations at a beachfront apartment in return for helping the firm secure contracts with Brazil's state-run oil company. Lula denied ever owning the apartment. His conviction was later annulled, and he was cleared to stand for office again. It was bullshit. So I'm glad that the BBC is telling us that it's bullshit, but, they should use more harsh words. It's not both sides. It doesn't matter what the right wing says, because they're lying. And so I need media to really understand this. When the right wing says, from prisoner to... That doesn't matter, because they're just fucking crying and lying about bullshit. Many of Lula's critics argue that even though Brazil's top court quashed his conviction, that does not mean he was innocent. They point out that the conviction was annulled on procedural grounds. Again, bullshit. Lula supporters, on the other hand, say the case against Lula was political. No fucking shit, it was political. He was standing to win by double digits, and they fucking threw a made-up charge against him so he couldn't run in the election. How is that not political? It was a coup. It was a coup what happened in 2018. And you can also argue that the impeachment of Dilma, also a coup. But again, this is bullshit. Let's keep going. Many Bolsonaro supporters refused to accept his defeat. They saw him as a savior, who they said defended values they hold dear, which they listed as God, fatherland, and family. And then here's some stupid-ass fucking dumb bitch. This is when I say I hate religion, by the way. When I say things like, I fucking despise religion, you know, look at this fucking shit. Oh, God is telling me to storm the Capitol and install a military junta once again. That's what God is telling you? Really? God is telling you to pray for the military junta? Wow. Sounds like a fucking stupid-ass God to me. How about you go fuck yourself with your stupid-ass God shit? They placed their hope in Mr. Bolsonaro as the man who would defeat Lula, whom they consider a threat to those values, believing false rumors that the left-wing candidate would close down churches once elected. Now, first of all, if that were true, based, but that's not true. These voters had been convinced that Lula would lose, and they did not accept his win quietly. Lula was winning in every poll that was ever taken. Now, again, the final results were actually a lot closer than anyone expected. But the idea that anyone thought that Bolsonaro would win, I mean, again, it's QAnon stuff. This is Brazilians QAnon. They got their little WhatsApp group chats where they just share their fake news and they live in their own filter bubble. There are 0 polls that showed Bolsonaro had any chance of winning. Even on both election days, he didn't do well. If you thought that Bolsonaro would win, you're dumb. I don't know what to tell you. You're just a dumb motherfucker. You're not bright. Some camped out in front of military barracks, begging the military to stop him from becoming president, even if that would mean a military coup. Once again, they are literally, and I'm not even joking, praying for a military coup. I mean, like, come on now. When can we throw in the towel on these religious fucking freaks? Seriously? When can we just say, all right, enough's enough. We ran the experiment with the God people. Not doing so well, so let's just cut the cord on this fucking shit. The military did not act, and Lula was sworn in. Lula moved into the presidential palace. It made Bolsonaro supporters snap. The rioting at the capital, Brasilia, comes just a week after Lula was sworn into office. Mr. Bolsonaro, who refused to concede defeat, did not attend the ceremony, instead of flying to the United States. The anger of those who had pinned all their hopes on Mr. Bolsonaro beating Lula only grew. Seeing Lula take office and move into the presidential palace was too much for those who routinely label him a communist threat to Brazil. Feeling let down by the military, they decided to take matters into their own hands, invading the institutions they feel not only do not represent them, but are, in their eyes, a direct threat to what they hold dear. Now again, this is bullshit. Now, I like to know what crazy people think, and I think it's important to know what crazy people think. But to pretend that what anyone's like, oh, their fears, these are their feelings. I don't give a fuck about their feelings. I'm sorry, when did we start taking the feelings of psychopathic freaks so fucking seriously? I don't give a fuck about their feelings. Oh, they feel like their institutions don't represent them. Oh, wow. Really? Huh. Well, how about cry about it, bitch? You lost. Is that an option? Extremism and disinformation have taken on a life of their own. Jair Bolsonaro's divisive rhetoric and his questioning of the validity of Brazil's electoral system contributed in large part to the anger on display in Brazil on Sunday. In the run-up to the election, he repeatedly claimed that Brazil's electronic voting system was vulnerable to fraud. Where did we hear this before? These people literally, and I mean this, they do not have any consciousness or any ability to just like, they don't have free will. They're not real people. I need you to understand this. Anyone that falls for this shit, they're a zombie. They're not a real person. They don't possess critical thinking skills. They don't have human, level thought. They can't think about things in the future. They can't understand things on a logical basis. They're zombies. They're zombies, okay? If you fell for this shit, you're a zombie. You're just fucking stupid. And the same goes for Bolsonaro supporters, and the same goes for Trump supporters. These are fucking zombies. Okay? Many Brazilians wrongly believe the election was stolen, even though a challenge lodged by Mr. Bolsonaro's party was rejected by the... Now, again, this is the thing that's crazy. Is right-wingers can literally steal an election, and then, like, a left-winger overcomes the odds, and then they cry and whine, oh, they stole it. Like, look at America. The Republican Party stole the 2000 election. Democrats rolled over and said, oh, yes, master, please fuck me harder, master. That's what Al Gore was saying to George W. Bush. And then they lose 20 years later. Oh, stolen election, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. Once again, reminder, Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. He's a loser. Joe Biden is the winner of the 2020 election. Just a reminder. So again, we live in La La Land. If we're going to even acknowledge that anything that these people have to say is even remotely in the realm of possibility, we are living in the Twilight Zone. This is some stupid ass bullshit. When right-wingers do actual coups, oh, it's based. We're doing what we need to do. God's plan. When left-wingers just win an election, God, please let the military murder all the minorities and destroy the Amazon rainforest. God, why is the Amazon rainforest still here, God? God, please. Like, what are they praying for? What are these policies, so-called, that Bolsonaro was doing to help these people? Bolsonaro was bought and paid for by real estate and development companies. Like, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with these people? So anyway, you can, look more into this yourself. If anyone finds any more information on this from independent sources, Brazilian sources, I would like to read that. But again, it's a bunch of bullshit. But I want to end this segment by telling a little fun story. When Bolsonaro came to the United States in 2018, I was living in Washington, D.C. at the time, and I was demonstrating at a Lula Livre protest. And when Bolsonaro came to the White House, well, actually, he didn't come to the White House. He went to the CIA first. But when he came in, I gave him the double middle finger, and he saw it. I saw him look through the window, and we made eye contact while I was flipping him off. So I just want to say this. Fuck Bolsonaro. He's a bitch. So, that's my story. But anyway, some crazy ass shit going on there. And, the longer we pretend that these people are even remotely rational, the longer that we let them run around without straitjackets, the longer we're going to have to deal with this fucking bullshit. So that's what's happening. If humans are like this, we can never progress. That's correct. We will never progress because of the dumb fucks. Lula's support for Russia is concerning. I mean, my opinion is that Lula rightfully does not like the United States. And unfortunately, you don't have many options. If you don't like the United States, it's the same thing with Venezuela. If you don't like the United States, you gotta go somewhere. Right, so yeah, I think Lula's statements when it comes to Ukraine are not good, to say the least. I think they're pretty bad. But ultimately, does Brazil have much of a say in that scenario? Not really, right? Like, does Brazil's, are they going to send weapons to Russia? Not really, right? So it's just kind of like just geopolitical posturing. And Lula is mostly amazing on domestic issues, so I say, he's allowed to have a bad take. It's just geopolitics. But we also have to look at what the material things are going to be, right? Materially, is there going to be any action based on his weird statements on Ukraine? Not really. Materially, though, domestically, is he going to be doing good things? Absolutely, right? So that's my calculus. Got a show going on today. doing a program. I have my hair is like all over the place. You see this shit? My hair is caught in this like... This is like some shit like on Saw. You ever see Saw? I got like one of those like fucking... right? Like, you know, when the movie starts and it's like they're zoomed in on the face, right? And then it's like... right? It zooms out and you see the machine on them. That's me. I got the machine on. Anyway, fill out the fucking survey, everybody. Today's going to be the last day that I'm going to whine about the survey. I want to use this survey as a way to figure out like the future direction of this channel. If you want to have any input on that, feel free to fill out the survey. If you want to have no input on the future direction of the channel, feel free not to fill out the survey. But today's going to be the last day that I'm going to be whining about it. So now's your chance. So let's talk about some good news. A lot of people don't know what right to repair means. I'm going to explain this, but context. John Deere and American farmers sign right to repair agreement. This is big. This is big stuff. Now, you might not know what that means, right to repair. A lot of these companies, right, what they do, John Deere, for example, they manufacture tractors. And what they do is they make it as difficult as possible for, let's say, a tractor breaks down, to open it up, to take it apart, to figure out the issue, diagnose the issue, get a custom part. You know, they have a lot of proprietary stuff, and they like to force farmers to repair their equipment via them. It's a way to make more money. You buy your tractor, it's not yours, you're really just renting a license for it, and if something goes wrong, you got to spend more money to get it fixed by John Deere. A lot of these things, you know, another example of this are the McDonald's Frosty machines or whatever they are. I don't know. I don't imagine going to McDonald's, right? But like, those are always broken. Why? Because they're not allowed to repair them. They always have to wait 15 years to get some guy from the corporate, whatever place that they got the contract from, etc. So right to repair is a big deal. For example, if you buy a car, you have a right to repair it. If your car breaks down, you don't have to call the manufacturer, then give them a shitload of money because they're the only people you can legally call. Your car breaks down, you got a buddy, and they got a spare part, they can zoom on down and fix your car in a heartbeat. That's called right to repair. It's a worker issue. It's a farmer issue. It's an issue that affects people more on the bottom. So this is big news here. A battle for progressive tech has been waged on America's farmlands, and on Sunday, this is from Gizmodo, by the way, it came to a head. United States farmers using John Deere equipment have the right to repair after the American Farm Bureau Federation and John Deere signed a memorandum of understanding. Now, this is the thing. Is this really enforceable? We'll see. We'll see. The 6-page-long memorandum specifically requires John Deere to provide farmers and independent repair facilities with access to the company's tools, software, and documentation to make repairs to John Deere equipment. The document also defines that equipment as the usual tractor, combine, or other harvesting equipment, but also expands the definition to include other off-road vehicles primarily designed for use in an agricultural operation. The memorandum ensures that our farmers can repair their equipment and have access to the diagnostic tools and products and product guides so that they can find the problems and find solutions for them, said American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duvall. Yo. Can we just stop this for a second? Can we stop this for a fucking second? Everyone calm the fuck down. All right, just hold the fucking phone. This guy's name is Zippy Duval. Wow. I mean, this has single-handedly inspired me to have children so that I can name my child Zippy. Holy shit, man. Zippy Duval. Like, you know, reading the news every day, you see a lot of different names. That's one hell of a name. Zippy Duval. Both of them. Based. That's a great name. Anyway, let's keep going. And this is just the beginning of a process that we think is going to be real healthy for our farmers and for the company, because of what it does set up. Is it sets up an opportunity for our farmers to really work with John Deere on a personal basis. Now, I don't know about that, Zippy. But yeah, it is good. The American Farm Bureau Federation, meanwhile, has made a commitment to John Deere that encourages the state organizations to enact statewide right-to-repair legislation with commitments beyond those outlined in the present memorandum. So again, is this enforceable? What's to stop John Deere from just getting a new line of products with a whole new proprietary repair system, right? So this is why we need legislation. And this is something the Democrats should have done when they had Congress, but hey, whatever. Quote, through our research and advocacy, we've made it abundantly clear that farmers don't have everything they need to fix their own tractors, and that they are frustrated and they don't have the repair choices they deserve, said Kevin O'Reilly in a statement. O'Reilly is the Right to Repair campaign director for public interest research groups. He continued, quote, this could be a significant step forward if Deere truly provides farmers and independent mechanics with the same repair materials that its dealers have. Then we would shout our praise from the rooftops. But the Memorandum of Understanding contains limited enforcement mechanisms, and the best aspects of this agreement could get lost in legalese. Right to repair is a broad issue that seeks to rein in tech company monopolies on the repair of their products. Currently, only 2 states, New York and Colorado, have right-to-repair laws, the latter of which is hyper-specific and only relates to powered wheelchairs. While the agreement between the Federation and John Deere is far from a law, it does offer a framework that other industries can follow to hold companies with products they rely on accountable. So this is good news, right? But again, this is why we need to push for right-to-repair legislation. How fucked up is that, by the way? That, like, they make it impossible. Like, they make shit that breaks, and then you can't fix it? That's fucked up. How about you make a product that doesn't fucking break? But anyway. So, good news with John Deere and people that unfortunately are reliant on their products. Hopefully they're going to have a little bit of an easier time now. Goddamn Zippy. Holy shit, man. Blown away. Blown away by Zippy. My cat's name is Bix, and he ain't taking your S. What the hell? And he ain't taking your sticks? What does the S symbolize? Hello, Osnov Noye Hart Shitei. Welcome to the program. Got a show here going on today, everybody. A program. It's a programmatic experience, if you will. I consider this show to be an experience. An experience in programming. Just kidding. I am not experienced in programming. I've dabbled here and there. I've programmed a couple things. But I do not have that much experience. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a show, so I guess we should keep going. Right? I don't know. What's going on here? I'm going to take a moment to say that a lot of people in the survey and otherwise have given me some kind words. You know, you may know this about me or not, but I don't take compliments well. I'm not very good at it. You know, I got this weird fucked up disease. It's called generalized anxiety. I'm paranoid. Whenever someone's nice to me, are they lying? They must be. But anyway, a lot of people have been very nice to me in the survey. I appreciate it. Left me some kind words of motivation. So, once again, I do want to say, last year, I did experience some burnout, and I have created a plan for this show. I have a plan. I have a mission statement. Now, am I going to share that with y'all? I could. But I'd rather do it slowly over time. I'd rather people see what I've got up my sleeves over time. You figure it out. But I do have some plans and some goals for this program. Last year, I kind of was feeling like I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know what I wanted to do with this program. And so I kind of burned out a little bit. But I have resolved that. I have some good stuff going on in my brain. And we'll see if we can transfer that into reality. Hey, Itor. Yeah. I already told the story. So you got to go back and rewind if you want to see it. But yeah, once again, like I said, I have a new machine. A brand new machine. It's a big machine. Not to be confused with the Velvet Revolver song. And I'm going to be using this machine for some new projects. And once again, I've already said this, but Cooking with the Bitch is going to return season 4, folks. You thought it was good before. You thought, pretty decent show. What else you got, right? Well, I'll show you. Hopefully by the end of this month, I'll be ready to start it up. But either way, video editing. I got this machine for the main purpose of video editing. And so I've got a lot more projects coming down the pike, if you will, when it comes to editing work. So, but anyway, just thought I'd do that little intermission. Say thank you for the kind words. You know, again, I don't know why people do it. I don't know. One of these days, I'll figure it out. But people have given me kind words. So if you want to fill out the survey, today will be your last chance because I'm shutting it. Oh, God, I'm shutting it down. Shutting it down as of tomorrow morning. So if you want to fill it out at any point Monday, feel free. But I'm shutting it down as of Tuesday morning. So either fill it out and I'll read it or don't. And then I guess I won't read it. But, you know, this is your opportunity to influence the influencer, if you will. So, anyway. Let's jump in. Nurses go on strike at 2 New York City hospitals. More than 7,000 nurses at 2 hospitals in New York City went on strike early Monday, that's today, forcing the health centers into a frantic flurry to move patients, divert ambulances, and scale back other services. So before we get into this, solidarity with the nurses. Being a nurse who goes on strike is not easy. Because you're going to be thrown, oh, we just want people to die. Oh, they need healthcare. Oh, they need healthcare. I agree, they need healthcare. And so that's why these private companies that own these hospitals should be forced to pay the nurses adequate living wages to do the job that they want them to do. I agree. Healthcare is necessary. So why don't you pay the people that are in charge of making sure people receive that healthcare? Right? Right? The strikes over working conditions, salaries, and staffing policies presented serious challenges to hospitals already facing the triple-demic. Oh, now all of a sudden, the New York Times now cares about the quote-unquote triple-demic? The only triple-demic I'm interested in is Birdemic 3, okay? But anyway, all of a sudden now they care about, oh, COVID exists. There's a pandemic, RSV. You know, they covered up all the information about it for months and months on end. But now the nurses go on strike. Oh, what about COVID? After failing to reach an agreement during a late-night bargaining session on Sunday, the New York State Nurses Association said early Monday the nurses were on strike at 2 hospitals, the Mount Sinai Medical Center on the Upper East Side and the Montefiore Medical Center in the Bronx. Quote, "It is time for the hospitals to treat these nurses fairly, with the dignity and respect they deserve, to ensure nurses can get back to serving their communities by providing superior care to their patients." One of the big ways that nurses are overworked is you'll have, essentially, the way I understand it, you have certain wings of patients. Think of it like a waitress at a restaurant, right? And you have like a couple of tables, right? And you're spread thin. You got like 6 tables you're waiting on. Well, wouldn't the service be better if you only had 2 tables? Or hell, what if the whole time you're dining at that table, you had one waiter, waitress, whatever, and that was their table, and they were on call just for you for whatever you wanted? Now imagine that with hospital scenarios. You got 7 sick people, and they all need help. All 7 of them shit their pants at the same time. It happens when you're in the hospital, right? That's what nurses are for, right? Now imagine, I've seen articles, not specifically these hospitals, though I'm sure these hospitals are also a big problem here, but just all across the country, of people that, let's say, they defecated themselves. They have to sit there waiting. They hit the buzzer, you know, the little nurse buzzer you get. They hit the buzzer, and they're just waiting there in their own shit 30, 40 minutes. Why? Because the nurse is spread thin from 10 different patients. That is not acceptable. That is not healthcare, right? So the nurses, essentially what they want is they want higher wages for them and or more nurses so that they're not spread as thin. And guess what? When you have more nurses, more people get more adequate healthcare. So whenever you see mainstream media, you know, any politicians or anyone taking the side of the hospital on this, just know they want you to sit in your own shit for 30 minutes. They want your dad, your mom, your whatever, your whoever is in the hospital. They want them to sit in their own shit for hours. That's the quality of care that they want, that they're advocating for. If you do not endorse and support this strike, the hospitals rush to bring in temporary staff and continue operations, even pressing doctors into service to fill nursing shortages. In a statement on Monday, Montefiore Medical Center said the union's leadership had, quote, decided to walk away from the bedsides of their patients. Again, no. The CEOs said, we don't want to hire anyone to help our patients, so, fuck it. We'll let them cry in their own shit. That's what the CEO said. The CEO said, let your cancer-ridden mother cry in her own feces for probably an hour. I don't want her to have a nurse that can help. The nurses didn't decide that. The nurses have been putting up with this shit for a long time now. Right? We remain committed to seamless and compassionate care, recognizing that union leadership's decision will spark fear and uncertainty across our community. No! Union leadership didn't make a decision. They did. The CEO did. The businesses did. The hospitals that are bought and paid for by the health insurance scam industry, they made the decision. They chose not to hire the adequate amount of people that they need. They made that decision. It's like if I have a gun and I shoot you. Now, I'm not killing you. I shoot you in the arm. You'll be fine. You just got to get somewhere. Go to, get patched up. And then I say, oh, why are you making the decision to go to the hospital right now? Well, because you just shot me, bitch. That's why I'm, quote unquote, making the decision to go to the hospital. So when they say, we regret the union leadership's decision, that is, in this instance, they forced it to happen. They created the conditions, and now the union is just responding, and now all of a sudden it's their decision? What? Garbage. Garbage. And of course, I'm reading this from the New York Times because the New York Times is anti-union, anti-worker, and pro-suffering garbage. That's why I'm reading it from the New York Times. Mount Sinai administrators said in an emailed statement that the union leadership had walked out of negotiations at 1 a.m. on Monday morning. Our first priority is the safety of our patients, the statement said. No, it's not. They're lying. They're lying. If their first priority were the safety of the patients, they would have hired more nurses years ago. They didn't. They cut staffing, they cut wages, and they cut hours. Again, if I shoot you in the arm, can you really decide to go to the hospital? Union officials say they were fighting for pay raises to keep up with inflation. They also said hospitals have not hired enough nurses to deal with shortages created by the COVID-19 pandemic and have asked for improved staffing ratios. Quote, we do not take striking lightly, but that's what's going to happen if our bosses give us no other choice. Nancy Hagens, president of the Nurses Association, which represents 42,000 nurses in New York State. The union said that the main striking point at both hospitals was adequate enforcement mechanisms to ensure safe staffing levels were honored. No bargaining sessions were scheduled for Monday at this point, but the nurses were ready to return to the table, the union said. Now, note, by the way, that they give the CEO corporate statement first. Every paragraph, right? Think about this. This is media literacy here for you. Every paragraph. Now, I know this from being a YouTuber. If you ever, if you're a YouTuber, you have videos, look at your channel analytics. What it tells you, there's a certain graph called audience retention, right? We live in ADHD nation now, right? Audience retention. Okay? So what happens is every single second your video is playing, there's going to be a percentage of the viewers that cleave off. That go, all right, I've seen enough. All right, I'm bored. So imagine that, but for media. Every paragraph, further down you go, there's going to be a percentage of readers that go like, all right, I think I got the picture. All right, I understand. And that's why they put not the union statement first, but the corporate statement first. Because they want, and they know, more people will read it, and less people will read the union statement. The union said the main sticking point at both hospitals was adequate enforcement mechanisms to ensure safe staffing levels were honored. Blah, blah, I already read that. On Sunday night, Governor Kathy Hochul called for binding arbitration so that all parties can swiftly reach a resolution. Interesting that Kathy Hochul didn't do anything about it weeks ago. Right? It's almost like striking is actually good because it forces these politicians to acknowledge you, right? Isn't that the point of a strike? But of course, Kathy Hochul is too busy shoving in an anti-abortion extremist judge into the New York courts. That's what she's busy doing. Protecting conservatives, right-wing neo-Nazi freaks who oppose abortion, gay rights, etc. That's what she's too busy doing, Kathy Hochul. Stupid-ass bitch. Fucking fuckface. Horrible, horrible example of Democratic leadership. Terrible, terrible fucking garbage. The negotiations are taking place nearly 3 years into a pandemic that has left some frontline medical workers with deep distrust for management, prompting nurses to walk out in states across the country as well as overseas. Nurses in Britain went on strike last month for the first time in the 74 history 74-year history of the country's NHS. So there's a little bit more context here. But once again, when we talk about COVID on this channel, and when I say we, I mean me, people always say, why do you keep talking about COVID? Why do you keep talking about COVID? It's the most important thing in the country right now. If you go outside without a mask on, you're responsible for this. You're responsible for nurses dying. You're responsible for the suicide epidemic in medical circles. Doctors jumping off of roofs. Why? Because they didn't sign up to go to war. They didn't sign up to see the things that they had seen. And the government let them down. And their fellow Americans said, here, take some more bodies. I'm not going to wear my mask. Freedom, baby. Freedom. I don't want to wear my mask. Look at some more dead bodies. Have some more trauma. So there's a suicide epidemic. There's, a crisis of people just wanting to change their career. I didn't sign up to go to war. I'm not a soldier. I don't want to see dead bodies every single day. I don't want to see hundreds and hundreds of dead bodies every day. That's not what they signed up for, right? And so when we talk about why COVID acknowledgement is so important, wearing a mask at the fucking very least, it's not just about the disabled people who might die. Think about the nurses who are going to be taking care of those disabled people as they die. But our country doesn't give a fuck. Our country doesn't give a fuck about anything. We don't give a fuck about each other. We don't give a fuck about our own family members. That's why we fly to see our family on Thanksgiving and Christmas during a pandemic. That's how much we don't give a fuck about our family. That we fly to meet up and give each other a deadly disease. That's how much we don't give a fuck. People in this country are broken. Everyone. Me, you, everyone. Just a matter of how broken are we and can we be fixed. I think most Americans are hopeless. I do. And when I say most, I mean 50% minimum, I think, of Americans are hopeless. We're just going to have to wait for them to die off. And with this triple-demic, it'll be sooner than later, most likely. But I think there's a good chunk of Americans that cannot be fixed. And we're just going to have to wait for them to kill themselves and each other. And we have to be ready to take up the power vacuum that's going to leave behind. When the generations before us, I'm 26 years old, when the boomers die off, we got to be ready. When Gen X dies off, we got to be ready. Because if we're not, and the crazy fuckers in the millennial and the Generation Z generations, if they're the ones that take up the power vacuum, well, then we're hopping in, strapping up for another loop sesh. So once again, 100% support and endorsement of these strikers. If you are in New York and you can do anything for them, if you are in this area, get them a pizza, get them some food, get some fiber on that shit, get some spinach on that pizza, These people need to take care of themselves, for Christ's sake. Am I right? But anyway, this is good stuff, and we need to see more of this in more industries. Kathy Hochul. Well, on the subject of Kathy, dumb fuck shit for brains, cocksucking Hochul. Remember in October when she did that please respect people that don't wear masks ad campaign? Take your mask off. It's all good. Everybody be nice to the people that don't wear masks. It's all good. Just take it off. Be free. Remember, Democrat did that. We went from Andrew Cuomo, who tried to make his name on taking COVID seriously, to his replacement doing the exact opposite. The exact opposite. Now, again, fuck Andrew Cuomo, right? His handling of COVID was terrible. But at least optics-wise, publicly, He was trying to be the guy in charge of taking things seriously. Now, again, privately, behind the scenes, he was fucking shit up too. But isn't it weird 3 years later, the same position, the same administration, really, is now doing the exact opposite? Let COVID rip, baby. It's like Beyblade, motherfucker. Let it rip. Let's kill as many disabled people as we can. Hey, we know that the virus is going into those black communities. Yeah, get them! We know that service workers are going to die more likely. Fuck yeah. Kill the service workers. Kill disabled people. Kill minorities. That's the goal, the stated mission of the Democratic governor of New York. The stated mission, the advertised mission, is mass murder of disabled people and destroying the healthcare system. These people are genocidal maniacs, man. It's that simple. And we wonder how Nazi Germany happened. We wonder, you know, people always love to say, how did people let this happen? Well, now we know. Now we know. Now we know how people let it happen. Because they just don't care. They just don't give a shit. But that's letting them off the hook when you really think about it, saying they don't care. I think they do care. And I think that this is good for them. Seeing black people die in droves makes people like Kathy Hochul happy. Makes people like Donald Trump happy. Ron DeSantis, Joe Biden. It makes them happy. When they see elderly people die in droves, it makes them smile. How else could you explain this behavior? How else could you explain what the CDC is doing, what these local governments are doing? When they see children being wheeled into the hospitals unable to breathe, people like Anthony Fauci get a tear down their cheek, not because they're upset, but because everything is going according to plan. Rochelle Walensky, what do you think her reaction is when she reads a new study about how immigrant populations are more likely to die from COVID? I'm imagining her right now with that Tucker Carlson laugh, you know, the woo! You know, like the motherfucker in Spyro, you know, the egg thief. Well, how else could you explain these actions? I'm serious. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I am misguided in some way, explain to me how any of the facts could possibly make any sense unless these people want this to happen. Like, explain it. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. Why would they go out of their way to get more people infected? They like it. They want to kill you. That is their goal. All 50 governors. It's not a partisan issue. Anyone trapped in this fucking Republican goddamn freedom. Freedom? You think Republicans give a shit about freedom? Florida's got the highest fucking death rate of COVID. At this point, they just covered up all the numbers. You think they give a fuck about freedom? They don't give a fuck about freedom. They're fucking garbage. They're garbage. They're trash. So yeah, remember the Nuremberg trials? I was just following orders. What did we do to those people? We did what needed to be done. And we hanged their fucking bitch asses. So don't tell me, oh, these governors are just following orders. Oh, these people are just following orders. Oh, the CDC is just following orders. Really? Really? Because I say, let's Nuremberg these motherfuckers. It's a crime against humanity what they're doing. So that's my opinion. And what is Nuremberg? It's a legal trial where all the evidence is laid bare. It is not extra legal. I'm not calling for vigilante. I'm not calling for any of that shit. I'm calling for a legal accounting of what's going on in this country and the world. Why are they letting us die? Maybe they're not letting us die. Maybe they're orchestrating our deaths. Again, the CDC, this is the smoking gun. I know, I'm not even talking about COVID today, but I can't help myself. This is the smoking gun. The CDC covered up information on the new super variant for 2 months. They knew about it, and it reached reporting levels the week before Thanksgiving. They covered it up for 2 months. They talked about it on the last day of December. That's the smoking gun. It's case closed. It's case fucking closed. We don't need to discuss it anymore. There's no argument to be had. There's no logical debate to be had. It's a fact. The CDC is orchestrating mass death. I don't know what else to tell you. How else can you square that information? They just kept the super variant secret until conveniently after the holidays? Really? Just why? What other reason? Other than they want to cause mass death. And they know Americans are stupid enough, just like the sheep and the pigs and the cows at the slaughterhouses. Americans are stupid enough to line up at the gates. But instead of the gates of a slaughterhouse, it's the gates of Walmart. Black Friday, baby. Record numbers. Actually, Black Friday was actually down recently. But I read an article that it's just because most people that would be willing to go on Black Friday have already died. So, I don't know about that. But still, walking in like lambs to slaughter, the Americans are letting the people in charge have their way with them. And it's sad. I don't know, Sandy. I don't know. And by that, I mean, I'm pretty sure I do know, but I don't know what to say in response to that. When people become politicians, they change. And they stop caring about people. They only care about their career. They only care about their career. And when you only care, actions express priorities, right? And if your priority is, can I move up on the food chain? Oh, I'm going to become governor now. Woo, look at me. Maybe I can run for Senate. Maybe I can run for president. When that's all you care about, I don't give a fuck what's in their heart. To be honest with you, I don't give a shit what's in their heart. I care about actions. These people are money-hungry, corporate, careerist whores. And they're willing to destroy this country and the quality of life of people in this country. What little quality of life. Because our country has fallen off the fucking seams to begin with. They're willing to take what little quality of life we had, rip that shit up and throw it out the window for their own fucking career. And again, what is Kathy Hochul doing right now? This minute, as I'm live broadcasting, 11:15 a.m. Monday morning, Kathy Hochul is doing positive propaganda for an anti-abortion judge who hates gay people and immigrants. That's what she's doing. She's trying to get an anti-abortion judge who hates gay people and immigrants to get through into the court systems, and she's defending him. So, fuck that bitch. Garbage. Absolute garbage. But our country, we're too chicken shit. We're too chicken shit to take things seriously. You'd never see another set of Nuremberg trials. Never. Why? We're too fucking chicken shit and we're too stupid. We're too fucking stupid to do this shit. We're too stupid to fight back. We're too stupid to help each other. We're too stupid to help ourselves. So, whatever. Anyway, let's talk about Democrats a little bit in a positive way, because, you know, I've been shitting on them and I have this one I'm sitting on. So, Democrat House Whip Catherine Clark was on Jake Tapper's program, And, honestly, I see a lot of these clips and I scan them and I'm thinking, oh, Jesus, more cringe. But you know what? This is probably the best statement I've seen from a Democrat. And the other good part about this and why I want to show this video is Jake Tapper is already been primed to tell you the scam. I told you this last week. What is the scam here? They want to pretend that there's such a thing as moderate Republicans, that the moderate Republicans were able to fend off and rein in the crazies. That is the narrative that they're going to run with. The moderates, the adults in the room. But is that really a thing? Let's watch.
They talked about, balancing the budget. They talked about opening up the process. Some Democrats that I've talked to like some of the concessions that the rebels like Chip Roy exacted. They support liberalizing the process for amendments, for allowing more people to add amendments for the appropriations.
Did you hear the words? Liberalizing the process.
The rebels like Chip Roy exacted. They support liberalizing the process for amendments, for allowing more people to add amendments for the appropriations process. Is it possible?
Useful fucking dumbasses. Now, typically, a Democrat here would probably go like, oh, yeah. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about Catherine Clark. I've heard of her before. I don't really know anything about her. But so far, let's check this out.
Well, that some of what happened here might ultimately be good for the American people?
What we are seeing here is that when they talk about process, that is a smokescreen. What none of the representatives you just had on would take on is that they've already put this out there. This is their written agenda that they had put forward during the midterms, that they are going to use the debt ceiling as leverage to take American seniors hostage. This is their plan. They voted to raise the debt ceiling 3 times under the Trump administration. This is all about forcing us to make cuts to Social Security, where the hard-earned earnings of Americans reside, and Medicare, so that they can, enact that in the middle of a crisis. That is taking our seniors hostage. We have to be clear about this. And all the talk about process and amendments and germaneness, that is cover for what they're really trying to do, which is dismantle the equities of our economy and to make sure that their billionaire buddies continue to thrive at the expense of hardworking American families.
Well, maybe you heard when I asked Congressman Roy about...
Hey, from a Democrat that I have never really heard much from, hey, that's pretty good, right? So now again, why am I playing this clip? Because this is the messaging the Democrats need to run with. What she did was she took what Jake Tapper said and said, your whole question is fucking stupid and here's why. Right, so Jake Tapper gives like the most pro-fascist, pro-Republican fucking shit you could possibly go with. And then she is like, yeah, that question, I don't want to embarrass you too much, Jake. I like you. You're a good guy. But that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and here's why. And that's good. That's good messaging. I just got to say, I'm here to tell you when a Democrat says something interesting, I open my eyes. I listen. Right? Doesn't happen often, but it happens every once in a while. And we'll see. Is this the Democratic unity message? Are they going to all jump on this? Because the other day, Hakeem Jeffries was crying and hugging Kevin McCarthy. So, I don't know. But let's keep going.
About whether or not Medicare and Social Security were mentioned when they talked about the negotiations, and one of the key concessions McCarthy made to hardline Republicans in exchange for the support was to tie any debt ceiling increase to spending cuts. Chip Roy said it's the whole budget. He didn't say Medicare, Social Security. He said it's the whole budget.
Why is Jake Tapper just giving pro-fascist propaganda on live television. Now, what is the average age of a CNN viewer? 20 years old? No, no way. 30? Nah. 40? Probably not. 50? Maybe. 60? 65? I mean, who watches this shit? Why is Jake Tapper trying to lie to old people? Max the dog. Maxie, are you okay? He's making noises in his sleep. He's sleeping right next to me. But anyway, so a little food for thought there. A little food for thought.
Budget needs to be discussed. America is going to reach its borrowing limit sometime later this year. Obviously, the United States government is spending more money than it is taking in. Are you willing to consider any spending cuts? Will Democrats accept anything other than a completely clean bill?
Why is Jake Tapper queuing up fascist propaganda here? Like, what the fuck? Now let's see what she has to say.
To raise the debt ceiling.
Let's look back at the Inflation Reduction Act, where Democrats put in place $1.7 trillion in deficit reduction. And how many votes did we get from the Republican side of the aisle? 0.
Those were tax increases,
That is
right?
how
Not spending
serious.
cuts. Just to be.
So again, Jake Tapper with the fascist propaganda, interrupting her. Oh, those are tax increases. Yeah, you increase taxes. Right, because most Americans are so stupid. When they hear tax increase for billionaires, they think, are my taxes going up? You know, I was doing pretty good last year. You know, hey, I'm no billionaire, but my taxes going up. I heard Democrats are raising taxes on the wealthy. You know, I got $30,000 a year. I think I'm pretty wealthy. Or a Democrat raising my taxes. And that's what Jake Tapper is tapping into. Let's keep going.
Precise.
That's right.
Okay.
But that is, you know, it isn't tax increases. It is tax enforcement. It is making sure that billionaires cannot cheat while we keep asking hardworking Americans to pay their fair share. This is putting equity back in our system. And this is the first thing on the Republican agenda they want to undo. So we have to look past their rhetoric around this is about process and amendments. This is about continuing to rig the system.
So, I don't know what they're doing here. They're just like scrolling another video. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. So anyway, I think if Democrats ran with that and stick with that for the next 2 years, you know what? I'm in. Now, I don't think they will. I think Democrats are going to fold. I do. Why? I think Democrats are weak. I do. I think they're weak. So I'd like to be proven wrong. But as far as a Democrat going on CNN and debunking fascist propaganda, she's not Bernie Sanders, but that was a pretty good job. She, again, reframed all the questions and saying the questions are made up garbage. Which is true. It's not about process. It's not about liberalizing. Did you hear what Jake Tapper said? The Republicans want to liberalize the process. What does that mean? Like, seriously, these people are insane, right? And so Democrats, if they're going to start standing up, now's the fucking time. Hey, should have been 2 years ago. You should have been standing up to Joe Manchin and Joe Biden. But hey, now's the time. Let's see, the professional opposition party. Let's see if they can do anything good nowadays. But again, what she said is true. Republicans are trying to fuck this country up, but they can't pass laws to fuck this country up. They know they don't have the Senate or the presidency. So they're going to use process to fuck this country up. They're going to filibuster important legislation to fuck this country up. They're going to do all that they can to fuck this country up. And that's what they've said they're going to do. That's what their actions are going to do. And this whole, the moderates Republicans have reigned in the radicals, it's just made up garbage. It's bullshit. And I'm glad that Democrats are at least trying to cut through that on television. So You know, again, we'll see how much this keeps up. Or if it keeps up. This might be just a one-off. We'll see. But we'll see. And the reason why I think it's important is because, again, this is someone in House leadership. This isn't AOC. This isn't Ilhan Omar, right? This isn't a squad member. This is someone in House leadership who's actually being tough a little bit, unlike Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries is a fucking shit show. So, again, we're probably going to see, she's probably going to get a phone call. She probably has already gotten a phone call by the time this segment has happened. Hey, I saw that segment on there. You really shouldn't have said that. I'm sure Hakeem Jeffries is already talking down to her. But hey, we'll see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe Democrats will get their shit together for once in my life. I'm 26 years old. I never seen Democrats get their shit together. So maybe it'll happen. Who knows? We'll see. I'm here for it, but I'm not going to be waiting for it. I'm not going to bet on it. But hey, if this is the direction they're going in, I say I'm in. Anyway, that's the last segment that I got going on. Yeah, Abner, that was a long time ago, my friend. I don't think many Democrats that are alive today were around back then. But fair point. Fair point. 70 years ago, they did not fold. That is true. Fair point. So fill out the survey. QCock, how much RAM? I know you might not believe this. I didn't believe it at first, but it's true. I got like 64 in this bitch. No, we're not talking about Nintendo 64. None of that kid shit. None of that baby shit. My old computer had like 8. So it's a pretty big one. Goddamn. Anyway, once again, fill out the survey, everybody. This will be the last day that I'm collecting responses. I mean, you know, the last day I'm looking at the responses. Anyway, you know, if you fill out the survey, I'm not gonna like delete the form, right? So you could fill it out like 13 years from now. I'll never know because I'm not gonna look at it. But you know, yeah, Bob, you have no idea what's coming down the pike. Coming down the pike. I love that phrase. Pike. I got 44 responses to my survey. So yes, tomorrow morning, the survey is cut off. So if you watch this video tonight, whatever, if you watch the archive over the course of today, still fill it out, everybody. Come on. But you know, if you watch it tomorrow, you missed your chance. You ungrateful piece of shit. Once again, I'd like to say, everyone follow me on twitch.tv. Maybe my glasses will fall apart live on stream again. That was pretty entertaining. For everyone else, not me. I was having a little bit of an anxiety attack, panic attack even, I would say. You could probably qualify it as. But anyway, that's a thing. That's what I got. Yeah, that's pretty much it. QCock, hit me. I don't have the QCock thing. The text. I don't have that on anymore. For now, I'm stretching. Okay. Oh, God. Look at this. I'm going to present to you Max the dog. He's running away. Maxie, come look at me again. Look at this baby. Look at this goddamn baby. Look at that goddamn baby. Holy shit. Oh my God. Wow. Incredible. Incredible stuff. Oh, now he's over here. Yeah, I still got my Yeston graphics card box there. So you got to. Once again, this computer, the Yeston graphics card has a quote-unquote fragrance module, and it smells like anime. Now, you might be wondering, what does that mean? Well, this is why reading books is good for you, because I'm going to let your brain decide what it means. Shit smells like anime. Like, there's like a slight... I'm sure Max is very confused, but there's like a slight smell. It's supposed to last a couple months. I'm not sure. But it smells like anime, everybody. So, I love you, Max. Miss dog. I want to tell a Max the dog story. So sometimes Max the dog sleeps on the floor. Sometimes he sleeps on the bed. But sometimes he switches. And so sometimes like it's 3 a.m., right? And he just like, he gets on the bed and he just like steps on my face. He just, you know, he treats my body as furniture, you know. He's walking all over my face. I wake up and like he's like sitting on my tummy with like his butt facing my face, you know, like, ugh, I don't want to wake up to that, but Max is a freak, you know, and he treats my sleeping body as furniture. And this dog last night woke me up in the middle of the night because he like, well, needless to say, he stepped on my belly, you know, with full force. And it made me very uncomfortable. Now, it was fine, you know, like once he laid down, it was all good. But like, buddy, I'm trying to sleep here, you know? I'm trying to take a nap. And this goddamn dog is waking me up. But it's okay, because I love him. So, what are you going to do? Goddamn Bix the cat. I got like a little chapped lip situation going on here. Does anyone see this? A little chapped lip situation. Christ. You know, what the hell is the world coming to now? Our lips are being chapped. It's goddamn cold outside, you know? Fuck. If you couldn't tell, the show is over. Everybody, that's it. That's all I got. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching. That's all I got. Bye. Bye-bye. 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 Bye. Bye.